August 1st, now what's going on? And they sold 80% of the Bitcoin? Oh my God, what is happening? Is this going to be catastrophic for crypto? Or is this a great signal that your crypto is about to go parabolic over the back end of this year? I'm going to share with you how to stay stoic, how to stay calm, and how to take advantage of the largest shift in generational wealth in history. Trump mentions August 1st, the payments are coming, and I'm going to show you that video, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then Cynthia Loomis announces that they found out that they sold off 80% of the Bitcoin. And I'm going to share with you how that's great news, because guess what? They're going to work to accumulate as much as they can. And if they sold off 80% of the Bitcoin, they're going to go much harder. They're about to lower interest rates. Think about this. They're about to lower interest rates. They're going to turn the printing machine back on, and you're about to see the wealthier become extremely wealthy. And over the next 3 years, the middle class is going to have more cash in their pocket that's going to be worth less. And by the time they wake up in 2030, it's going to be worthless. But if you learn to transmute that cash into cash flow, into deflationary assets that have fixed supplies, you learn how to protect your wealth, and you learn how to leverage responsibly, you could become the new 1% within your family. So let's dive right in. So President Trump, man, always dropping bombs, man. Well, it's good news this morning. So everybody was panicking about the Genius Act, the Clarity Act. So it passed the votes. Now it's heading to the House. And now they have to get it passed there. Then they'll go to Trump. It's going to pass, guys. It's going to pass. It's going to get signed. We're going to have true, clear rules of the road that I told you guys would happen in 2025. Banks are going to have clarity on how to operate within cryptocurrency. The Genius Act, the Stablecoin Act, is going to preserve would be the better word, preserve the US dollar's dominance. That's going to allow the US to continue to be the dominant currency. Okay. They're going to start stacking as much Bitcoin as humanly possible, creating a massive supply and demand issue. And those who hold the Bitcoin and those who hold the XRP and deflationary assets are going to become some of the richest people in the world. And on the back end of the video, I show you exactly what I do. So he mentioned something about August 1st. I believe it has to do with tariffs. And I've been telling you guys, go back and watch my videos. Get ready for August. Get ready for August. Get ready for August. Pay attention. Oh, another thing I want you to pay attention to. Can you guys see my, okay, you can't see my little mouse here. See this gentleman next to him, Howard Lutnick. Okay. Pay attention. I look at the players of the game. I don't listen to FUD. I don't listen to hype. I don't listen to haters. I watch what actually is happening. This gentleman right here, Howard Lutnick, okay? I keep hearing people saying, oh, Bitcoin's going to crash. There's going to be a tether black swan. Okay, this gentleman standing right next to Good Morning Crypto, Abs shared this connection here, okay? This gentleman right next to Donald Trump is Howard Lutnick. He is the Commerce Secretary for Your America. Commerce Secretary for America. His son, Brandon Lutnick, runs Cantor. He is the owner of Cantor. Okay. He's going to be a billionaire in Bitcoin this year. Cantor linked up with SoftBank. They're competing against Strategy B. MicroStrategies became Strategy B, a Bitcoin reserve company, a Bitcoin treasury. BlackRock is the third largest holder in Strategy B. Okay. Now Howard Lutnick, Cantor, is connected to SoftBank, competing against MicroStrategies. Cantor gives loans to crypto companies. I'm going to show you at the back end of the video how this gentleman who's right next to Trump all the time is connected to Tether. Guys, this has been played out. This has been planned out. They told you to run from Bitcoin. They told you to run from crypto. Now that their bags are packed, come on in. Water's warm. We were wrong. It's a flight to quality. No, it's always been the plan, guys. And when you understand that we're drunk in the Coliseum, wearing other men's names on the back of our jerseys, we're not paying attention. We're stuck in lust. We're trading so much time for money. We don't have time to pay attention. We borrow against our future selves. They pulled the purpose out of us. They can move us any direction they want. So it's time to get out of the Coliseum. It's time to get disciplined. It's time to get focused. And if you're the head of household, it's time to get your shit together, because it's about to change dramatically. Check this out.
Mr. President, on the date you gave of August 1st, But the date that you gave of August 1st, right. Why stick with the date if you're saying that you might
payments start on August 1st.
Right.
The only thing about that's really sacred about August 1st is that's when payments start. So they have to start paying billions of dollars to you and people. Are you a citizen of the country?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. You'll be very happy because you're going to be getting a lot of money. Just like they found a budget surplus. We have a budget surplus of $25 billion. Everyone said, how did that happen? It hasn't happened in many years. It happened because of good management and tariffs.
Boom. Okay. So what he's talking about, it just hit me. August 1st, which I've been talking to you guys about. Remember, I told you in August, everything's going to come to a head. Okay. We're going to see the crypto markets pump. It's happening. I told you it was going to happen. They're going to lower interest rates at some point. They have to, right? So you're going to have lower interest rates, printing of money, M2 money supply. Bitcoin's going to go up. The dominance started going down. ETH is starting to run. Your altcoins are going to run. All of the cryptos. The tariffs payments are going to start. That's what he means. Tariff payments are going to hit August, start hitting in August. You're going to see more money flood into America than you've ever seen before. Okay. Now you're going to feel wealthier. Okay. You're going to have so much money coming into your pocket. Remember, cash is trash. That's why Trump is stacking Bitcoin. That's why his family has become way wealthier because of crypto. Okay. So we're going to go back in history right now and listen to Bo Hines. He says the best interest of the US is accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible. So this is a past video. Now look it over to his, is that to his, if he's sitting down to his right, that's Cynthia Loomis's shoulder right there. Okay. So they were sitting in front of Congress. Bo Hines is the executive director for Trump. Okay. He's in charge of digital assets. Okay. Cynthia Loomis is the one creating the Bitcoin strategic reserve. So this was when they were talking about when they believed we had owned 200,000 crypto. Don't quote me on that number. It's about 200,000 crypto that was seized crypto that the country owned. So this is him talking about buying as much Bitcoin as possible. And then they announced yesterday, I think this is a report he's talking about. Well, the report got released and it found out, I'm assuming it was the old administration sold off 80% of the Bitcoin. So I think that's great news. I know everybody's like, oh my God, it's going to collapse. I'm like, guys, that means they have to go even harder on Bitcoin. So pay attention. Okay. Stop being so pessimistic.
Yeah, so if you look at the EO, it did mandate an accounting to take place in which Treasury has spearheaded that. They have received the numbers from the different agencies inside of government. There are a lot of different actors that held on to some Bitcoin in some fashion or another. Now the process begins in terms of establishing the reserve, the actual infrastructure behind it, and getting all of that accomplished. There's nothing in the EO that mandates that report become public, but we could choose to make it public at some point. And we are certainly keen on the idea of accumulation. We've stated publicly that Bitcoin is digital gold. We believe it's in the best interest of the United States to garner as much as we can possibly get. I've said that at every conference that I've spoken at in the last 2 to 3 months. Now, obviously, this has to be done in budget neutral ways that don't cost the taxpayer a dime. The president was clear about that in the executive order. But I think we have some very creative minds, 2 of which are sitting up here with me. And I think we'll begin moving very quickly on that.
Okay. So you got Cynthia Loomis right here. They want to do it in a budget neutral way. I think this is a report he was talking about, and boom, it got released yesterday. So this came out from Bitcoin Magazine. Then I'll read Cynthia Loomis's comments here. It says Bitcoin Magazine, new U.S. Marshals revealed the government now only holds 28,988 Bitcoin worth $3.4 billion instead of estimated 200,000 BTC. That is a massive difference. Where the hell did the Bitcoin go? Cynthia Loomis says, I'm alarmed by reports that the U.S. has sold off 80% of the Bitcoin reserves, leaving just 29,000 coins. If true, this is a total strategic blunder and sets the United States back years in the Bitcoin race. That is very true. Very true. But here's the thing. We're going to be the Bitcoin capital of the world. Okay, remember, Howard Lutnick, which I'll show you in just a minute. Let's go back to the picture. I just want to make sure you guys understand the players in the game. Howard Lutnick, going to be a billionaire. Cantor, crypto company. Okay. So now we know that I'm assuming it was the old administration that did this. So now they're like, oh, what the? So guess what? They have to start buying like crazy. There's going to be a massive supply issue. The government wants to buy 1 million Bitcoin, and now they got to buy 1 million and what would be the math on that, guys? 170,000 or Bitcoin, 1 million Bitcoin, and so it'd be 1,170,000 now. Guys, it is going to be a race to buy as much Bitcoin as they can. Now, if you're an altcoin person, okay, if you're an altcoin person, then you are going to benefit from this too. It's not just about Bitcoin. I'm a, number one is XRP. That's an altcoin. Then I have Bitcoin is number two. Solana is number three. Okay. So I like Bitcoin. I'm not a maxi in any cryptocurrency. These are digital assets. I'm not married to them. I've used it to buy an insurance firm, right? I'm using it to build wealth. My point behind that is this is great news because this ain't going away. And now they're going to be like, oh, we need to buy even more in budget neutral way. I believe they're going to revalue gold. I think they're going to move it on an accounting measure, revalue gold, move gold from, I'm making these numbers up. I don't know if this is how they're going to do it, but say gold's at 3,000, they revalue it to 10,000. They take the 7,000 accounting measure, they move it over on the balance sheet and they buy Bitcoin, the new digital gold. So CZ posted this, says Bitcoin could solve most public debt. It's true. If they put Bitcoin on the balance sheet and it continues to appreciate as you're growing the economy, as you're printing money, they'll grow faster than the debt will accumulate. Okay. They're going to monetize a shitload of debt, but they're going to grow faster than the debt. That's what Trump means. It's like a tsunami of money is coming into the economy. Here's the biggest issue is that if you're on the wrong side of it, and Americans are trained to be on the wrong side of it, if you're not in debt, our country fails. Okay, that's the American dream, they call it. It's the American trap. It is the American enslavement system. It's the material system that we've operated in for a very long time. The 1% remain the 1%. The bankers remain the 1%. Okay, and you get effed every single time because you get the ability to borrow against your future self because interest rates are lower. Okay, there's no money in the system, guys. So when you have more money in your pocket, you want to be on the asset side of it. Okay, not the liability side of it. You don't need a new car, man. You don't. You don't need a bigger boat. You don't need a new car. You don't need a bigger house. Okay. Unless you're buying a bigger house for tax liabilities or maybe the Augusta rule, or maybe you're buying a rental property, or maybe you're buying a company car because you started a LLC or an S corp, a legit business to get tax write-offs. That's what you should do. The tax codes are designed to make you wealthy. When you start to understand that, you start a legit business and you start a foundation, right? You give to charity. There's all kinds of things you can do. Okay. All right, so here's the connection right here. So Elizabeth Warren, man, she's a terror. She is anti-crypto. We know that. But this is back in January 28, 2025. And this is when Trump was talking about bringing Howard Lutnick onto as a commerce secretary. Now he's the commerce secretary. This is Warren probes Lutnick for ties to crypto firm with long record of financing terrorists and illicit activities. That's their little narrative here. So if you take a look at this, as CEO of Tether's asset manager, Cantor Fitzgerald, so Brandon Lutnick, Howard Lutnick, which also reportedly holds 5% stake in cryptocurrency company Tether, played a significant role in Tether's rise, despite Tether's clear ties to criminal activity, including financing North Korean nuclear weapons program, Mexican drug cartels, Russian armed companies. She just goes on and on. Lutnick vouches for Tether when few others would. Okay. So people are saying Tether's going to collapse. Tether's going to collapse. I'm like, do you really think Howard Lutnick's going to let Tether collapse? Do you really think he's going to let Bitcoin collapse? Do you really think they're not going to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible when the Trump family now owns a shitload of cryptocurrency? Do you really think that they're going to let it collapse when Howard Lutnick, the person, right-hand man, he's with Trump all the time, is massive in Bitcoin, is connected to Tether? Guys, don't get caught up in the noise, man. The Epstein files, you got played, right? The Bitcoin, we just got played. They said they had 200,000. Nope. Oh, they only got 80. They sold 80%. We're always being played, man. Okay. We're always being played. That's why you got to understand the players in the game, watch their moves, watch what they're doing, stay out of it. The news isn't going to tell. The news is telling you television. It's telling you a vision. It's programming you. It's programming information. It's channeling information to you. It's owned by the wealthiest people in the world. Anthony Pompliano posted this. PPI came in lower than expected, which means the Fed should be cutting interest rates now. Okay, so that's what I've been telling you guys and warning you guys about is paying attention to the Fed's rate, right? The couple things that we'll need to pay attention to if you're a new investor in cryptocurrency. Okay, we This is a huge week in crypto. Okay, so that's really big. The tariffs, all the deals coming in August, I talked about that. Interest rates are a big part of this. Interest rates and M2 money supply. And then we're going to head into the back end. So we're going to quickly move through August, September, and then we're going to go into October. And I think there's 5 XRP ETFs waiting for approval. And it's like, boom, boom. It's like the 14, 15, 16, all the way through the 24th, I believe. When you see an XRP ETF hit, a boom, that's when you start to see some massive demand come in. Okay, because Mrs. Jones, the baby boomers that have so much money, Mrs. Jones and, you know, Frank, the baby boomer, they're not going to go and buy Bitcoin and XRP off an exchange. They're doing it through an ETF, guys. An ETF is an exchange traded fund. They're not going to hold it and do their seed phrases. You know, they can safely go in through an IBIT, BlackRock Bitcoin ETF. They'll be able to go through basically at one of these ETFs that's being created, 21 capital, 21 shares. I think it's called 21 shares, XRP ETF. When it gets approved, they're going to go through an ETF. They're getting exposure. The difference is you own the asset, right? The underlying asset, or you go through an ETF where you get exposure to the asset, right? So they're just holding a stock. So nobody can get their keys. Nobody can steal their crypto. They own a stock. That's just a much easier way for the general public to get involved. And so it makes a pathway for institutional investors to get involved, right? So then you get demand. So people start coming in, price goes up. As the price goes up of XRP, it makes the transaction cheaper. More institutions are going to want to use it because the higher the price of XRP, the cheaper the transaction. It's a simple mechanism. It's not some riddlers and, you know, drops and all this stuff and flip of a switch. It's economics. It's just economics. It's banking. Banking has to change. So it's just a simple change that's happening. So here's my first advice to you, and then I'll go into exactly what I do. If you're new to my channel, I break down every single time, repetitively, in nauseum, what I do. Okay. Number one is the meme coin casino will get you wrecked every single time. Okay. It ruins careers. It ruins people's lives. Okay. If you want, think about the casino. You can clean up Vegas all day. It's a lot cleaner now when we go out there. I love going to the pools. We're going there next week. We're going to spend a week in Vegas. But I damn well don't spend. I bring a certain amount of money that I spend. If that money's gone, boom, I walk away. But 99.9% of people can't walk away. You can put lipstick on a pig. It's always a pig. No matter how much they clean up the streets, they make it, it's still Vegas. It still robs people's souls. There is no get rich quick, guys. Okay. There is no get rich quick. Stick with RWA, real world assets. Set a long-term horizon to 2030. Okay. Build a plan and stick to it. That's how we did it. Okay. Now, maybe we didn't hit these meme coin pumps of 10 million, 20 million, whatever it is. And like, trust me, we're coming up on 12,000 people, coach. We've never met one person that's either gotten wealthy or got wealthy and maintained it. They always lose it. Always lose it. Okay. It's just not how wealth works. It's outside of the wisdom of King Solomon. It's outside of the richest man in Babylon. Don't play games with your money. Okay. So first rule. So if it's hypey, walk away from it. If you can measure it, maybe take a look at it. Okay. So here's how I did it. So I use Bitcoin as my gold. Okay. Bitcoin is a store of value. So we're going to focus on 4 things. Cash flow. Cash is trash. Okay. I do as much as I can to transmute my cash into, okay. Number 2, deflationary assets. Okay. Deflationary assets. I like using things like Bitcoin. I have many other cryptos, but the examples I use is Bitcoin and XRP. Bitcoin is 21 million as a supply. It's one of the most scarce assets in the world. 5% is left. That's it. 95% of the population does not have exposure. And eventually there'll be a massive supply and demand issue. So I'm holding on to something that will continue to appreciate just by the math mechanism of it. So I'd rather store my money in a Bitcoin like gold than stored in cash that is inflationary. Mine is deflationary. Okay, it's going to continue to grow in value. It's opposite of the US dollar. XRP has a deflationary mechanism, okay, a burning mechanism to it. There's a fixed supply. They can never print anymore. And as it's deflationary, basically, it's not the US dollar, they can just print it. Okay. And so basically every single time it's a deflationary asset, basically. So I'm storing 2 different deflationary assets opposite of an inflationary asset. So let me explain that. So if you didn't do any investing or you didn't get into anything that was deflationary from 2020 to 2024, you lost 19% of your purchasing power because of inflation. We gained almost 6 as of today. I mean, I think XRP, damn, as of today, holy shit. So as of today, my XRP has gone up 792%. My XLM has gone up 23%. And my BTC, where's it at, has gone up 209%. So as Americans lost 19% purchasing power, I went up 792% because I transmuted my cash into XRP, XLM, I have Bitcoin, all these different things. Think about that, right? But here's the thing. Here's where I changed the game. Okay. Now I'm going into the bull run. Okay. Bitcoin, we're going to move it off to the side. And we're going to put that in number 4 leverage component. Okay. So as it goes up, altcoins, all the coins outside of Bitcoin, to include my XRP. Okay. So I hold a lot of XRP. So 50% is always going to be held. I set exit targets on the way up using Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. As you're trying to catch the top, I calmly exit at targets on the way up. Okay. When it hits, boom, first thing I do is that I go to my third component, protection. I max fund my cash value life insurance policies. Why do I do that? Because I'm creating a family bank. So every month I'm pumping premiums in there. Each bull run, I max fund the policies. Okay. So now I've insured some of my wealth. You insure your car, you insure your house, you will insure your life, but you do not insure your money. Why wouldn't you insure your money? When people say life insurance is a scam, I'm like, just stop, please. Do you insure your phone? Yes. Do you insure your house? Yes. Do you insure your car? Yes. Then why the hell aren't you insuring your money? It's ridiculous to see insurance as a scam. Okay. I use cash value life insurance. So I insure my principal. So when the markets come collapsing down, guess what? 30% of my wealth is insured. I start out at 30%. Everybody else starts out at 0, has to build back up to baseline. I start out at my principal and I go up. I can leverage. Okay. So then number 4 is leverage. I now have Bitcoin over here. Remember, hanging out over here. I got insurance. I got 2 banks. Okay. So now I'm heading into the next phase, which is 2025 to 2030, which is so first was creating financial freedom, understanding how to become a 7-figure investor. Then, became 7-figure outside. Okay. Outside of investing. So now we understand the cash flow. Now we're using responsible leverage, and that's where the richest man in Babylon comes in. So now we go into generational wealth from 2025 to 2029. With our assets appreciating like this, now we multiply the money. Okay, we don't play games with our money. We don't buy liabilities with our own money. We buy it with assets. Okay, so now the buckets are filled. We got cash flow flowing. We're buying deflationary assets. When deflationary assets go up, boom, we pull a little bit. We max fund the policies. Boom, family bank goes up. I'm dollar cost average a day. Bitcoin keeps going up. And I have 2 leverage components, insurance and crypto. Okay. When DeFi gets really solidified, we're going to be able to do a lot with our cryptocurrency. So bucket 2, the deflationary, I'm going to be able to do a shitload with my crypto. I'll be able to stake it for interest income. I'm going to be able to lend it to other people, right? I'm going to be in first position in the bank, and so can you. Okay. So the key is what I started with: don't play games with your money. Stay out of the get rich quick. Build a fundamental plan and slowly and methodically invest. Understand what you're investing in, create a discipline plan, create a budget, lock and load. Some of you are going to come in at the top of the market. Okay. In the next 6 to 7 months, it's going to go parabolic because you're going to sit on your hands, and then you're going to come in when XRP's at $10, and that's okay. That's okay. If you believe in it and you come sliding down from $10 going into 2020, there's going to be a bear market. It's so ridiculous to hear. Listen to me. People are like, there's going to be no bear market. Since markets were created, guys, there's always a bear market. There will never not be a bear market. It's really frustrating to see influencers say that. That means they know nothing about investing. Since there's been markets, there's been somebody winning, somebody losing. There's always a bear market. Now, it may not be an 80% pullback, but there is going to be a bear market. Do markets just go like this? No. It's so ridiculous when you hear people say that. It's like, there's always going to be a pullback. So that's why we pull profits. Why wouldn't we pull profits? If I pull some profits off the table and I have a big chunk of money sitting here in my insurance policy that I can leverage to buy more, okay, or if I stuff money into my Bitcoin where I can do low leverage when the markets collapse down, guess what? I'm buying more. I become wealthier. That's how we got wealthy in the bear market, not in the bull market. The bull market is where you pull the seeds from, or you pull the fruit from the seeds you planted. The bull market is when when what you did in darkness comes to light. Okay. So I'll get off my soapbox. Love you guys. Appreciate you. We have 30 days for free with Merlin down below in the description. We can help you set up an exit plan. My team can help you do that. We have how-to videos. It's an interface. We don't hold your keys in crypto. It's absolutely amazing. You can get organized with your crypto. So I'm the co-founder and creator of Merlin. It's also in my bio here. I also have tons of resources for you down below. Please bear with us. I actually staffed up my team with 4 more people. We're getting about 40 appointments a day for our Warrior Academy. So we're doing the best we can to answer. We brought on 2 more setters, and we brought on to help people get to the right place. We're staffing up our customer service, so please bear with us as we continue to expand. We're coming up on 12,000 warriors worldwide. I also have a whole free section that I'll put right down here that you can access to get free information, to get the information, get the juices flowing. And then I have a elite team of insurance agents. I own my own brokerage where we can teach you how to properly set up cash value life insurance policies, right? We can have a deep conversation, find out what your goals are, right? Not what my goals are for you, what your goals are, and then help you understand how to create a family bank, how to grow money tax-free, how to retire tax-free, and how to responsibly leverage these amazing policies to continue the cash flow game. So we love you guys. We appreciate you. That's in the description of this video. If you're on YouTube, if you're in social media, click the link. I love you guys. Have an awesome day. Warriors, let's get your shit together. Let's go.